Hi friends, welcome to my channel Coach PB Vamsi. In this episode, let's try to understand the science behind salary compensation. Friends, we all work for money. You may have noticed many of our friends who are equally qualified are either overpaid or underpaid in comparison to us. Not just that. At times you tend to feel that the salary offered is not directly proportional to one's skill or experience. Many a times you call it a luck factor. Is it luck factor or is there an entire ocean of science behind it? Come, let's deep dive to find it out. Imagine if you want to sell a bottle of water. Now, you may sell it at river at a very low price or in a supermarket or a bus stand or a railway station at a reasonable price or at a desert for a very high price. I hope you get my point. You should know where to sell your skills in the first case. Obviously, in a city or a country which has a high demand and low supply of a particular skill, pays more than if you are going to a place where a similar kind of resource are very widely available. The salary paid is always inversely proportional to the availability of the resource. Now, the small to medium sized companies tend to pay more salary and less benefits, whereas big companies tend to pay comparatively little less salary but with more number of benefits. Now that you understand where to market your skills, now let's try to discuss how to market them. You already know that people with more experience or more academic qualifications or personal certifications get paid more. But is it just about the skills? Now, for the same quality and quantity of the food that is offered on the roadside vendor, we can get it at a very less price, but the same quantity and quality of food, if offered in a restaurant just opposite side of the road, it is priced very high. Why? We are not just paying for the food. We are paying for the ambience, for the presentation of the food, for the space that you get, and more importantly, for the attention you get from the waiters and servers. Similarly, companies don't pay anyone just looking after their skills. They look beyond to find what kind of attitude you carry, how you can fit into their working culture, and how more value you can add into their working culture by supporting colleagues in their work by your commitment and motivation that you spread. Just as how a company tries to bid for a project to a client, try to approach the recruiting company with some prototypes of your work. Showcase your skills with some demonstrable physical and digital models. You should educate yourself about the company profile, its achievements. This knowledge becomes handy when attending the interview at various levels. It leaves a strong impression on the recruiting team. Make your recruiting team understand how much value you can add to the company without actually saying it directly. Now that you understand how to market yourself, let's discuss what you should be expecting as compensation. Now, is it just about the salary? You spend about 9 hours, which is like 40% of your daytime at office, 40% of your entire daytime. And so, uh, are you going to sell yourself only for the money? If yes, you may soon get demotivated and don't find a purpose or meaning to your office work. You may feel disconnected and very mechanical over a period of time. How to avoid it? How do you make sure that you land into a right company which gives you the salary that you desire, and also you keep yourself motivated and keep spreading the positive energy? So for this all to fall into the place, here are the some questions that you should ask yourself. Do you fit well into their working culture? Are you okay with the work shift timings? Do they have flexible working hours? Do they allow to work from home? If yes, how often? Do they offer free or paid commute service? Do they offer free food, snacks, beverages? Do they recognize and reward the work? How do they celebrate the project success? Do they have party culture? Do they sponsor or support your career development training? If you are satisfied with the answers, let's move on to the next section on what you may expect from the company. Never mention the exact figure of your salary expectation. Find out in which range you fall. You may do it by finding out yourself by putting your skills, your experience, the city you are in. So these are some filters parameters that you can put in PayScale or Glassdoor or a similar website, and you can know the bracket into which you fall. So have this bracket in your mind, but don't tell it upfront. Only when the recruiter asks, you may say the range. Why only range? Because it's not just the salary. It's your, like we discussed, 40% of our time we are going to spend in our office. So it's not just salary can't keep us motivated all the way. The kind of the questions that we have just went through, they will keep you motivated. So if the recruiting team finds you expecting and your negotiation with them about this salary bracket doesn't help, then ask if they can revise your salary in next 6 months. Don't you think this is a reasonable and acceptable way? So the other important indirect salary benefits includes health insurance to you and your family, employer pension contribution, stock or share options of their company, paid vacation or annual leaves on top of general and sick leaves. Always remember there is no universal salary tag to any person. It depends on how suitable you are for the job, how hard it is to fill the vacancy with the right candidate, and within the budget of the hiring company. Before you can negotiate your salary, get a clear picture of your complete roles and responsibilities. And lastly, if recruiting team asks this question on what is the salary expectation even before the interview is scheduled, it is for the elimination of the candidates who doesn't fall into their budget, because the recruitment process is both tiresome and also it's very costly. So they tend to remove the candidates who doesn't fall into their salary bracket. And if you are asked about your salary expectation towards the end of the technical round, then the chances are you may be considered for the job. What do you think? What are the other factors that you consider while negotiating the salary? Let me know in the share in the comment section. If you like the video, please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.